my female Petricola, Synodontis Petricola. Female, she's swollen in the belly, ripe with eggs. Got the breeding tank ready to go. Male to this tank. Important part of this tank is having everything completely clean. The sponge very well cycled, but clean as well. Any little speck of debris the eggs can attach to, they will, and then fungus up after. So I've added a wild male, wild female Synodontis Petricola to my breeding tank. And generally it only takes 24 hours. By tomorrow morning, we should have eggs all down here. The important part is just not to add the fish until the female is ripe with eggs. We don't feed them for a day or two, so that way they don't produce any waste in the breeding tank either. That's the male there swimming around. The female's back there fully swollen, ripe with eggs, hiding under the filter. Well, we'll check back in the morning and hopefully we have some eggs on camera. There they are. She's back there. I just added them to the tank. This tank's had 100% water change. A couple pieces of debris down there. I like to get out with a little siphon tube if I can, because those little pieces of debris will certainly attach to some new eggs. So here we are the next morning, and sure enough, my Synodontis spawned. I mean, there's hundreds, if not 1,000 eggs in there. And I didn't quite purge the fish well enough. You can see some debris there. I think it was from my male. I should have purged him an extra day. But you can still see there's going to be plenty of survivors back there. Remember, the spawn usually happens in the morning. I was up even as late as 10, 11 o'clock last night, and there was no spawns. And I got a little airline hose and vacuumed out any little debris last night before I went to bed, because it happens every time when I wake up in the morning. The eggs are all here, and you don't want any debris in there. Wherever there's that debris like that, those eggs will likely fungus up. But you can, I mean, this bottom of this tank is literally covered from front to back with eggs. It's so hard to focus on them. They're so small. They're like the size of a ball in a ballpoint pen, if that. And it takes a couple days, and they'll be wiggling around. I'm leaving for Chicago on Thursday, so I'm hoping to get the hatching on video before I leave. And if you follow us on Facebook, you'll be seeing all this on there. I mean, those eggs are literally from front to back on this 20-gallon tank. There you go, a little bit of clear shot. You can see them back there. I gotta get some lenses for this new phone. I like the quality of the images, but we just need a better lens on it, I think, for zooming in. And this was the breeding tank. You'll see all it in the previous videos. I showed I added the fish in yesterday. And now I will pull the fish out and we'll leave the eggs alone for a couple days, then we'll pull the rest of the stuff out and let them swim around. So I'm back out here at the Synodontis Petricola breeding tank. I've removed the breeders. I've added an airline. I've got to remove the grating and the decor I used to breed them. I got a little airline and siphoned off any debris I could. I also had to blow a little space or clearing in the back so I could put the sponge filter on the bottom of the tank. These eggs are sticky and are stuck all to the bottom, but you can blow them a little bit. Hopefully I didn't damage too many of them. It seems like anytime you move anything in the tank, you kill a whole bunch of eggs. Even removing the grating and stuff was very touchy. I'm going to turn off the air just so I can get some shots of the eggs. And I'm going to add a little bit of methylene blue to help stop the eggs from fungusing up. Let's see here. They say this phone is waterproof, but when I told the guy at the store I wanted to stick it in a tank, he thought I was crazy. So I ordered a scuba diver's case for it. It's just not here yet. So soon we'll have some in the water footage. Hopefully it comes out good. But these are all Synodontis Petricola eggs. As you can see, there's plenty of them there. They don't all survive, it's just the way it is. Let's see how many we get to survive this round. Going to give a half a dose of methylene blue. Another thing I'd like to note is the sponge filter. I actually paid 20 bucks for that one at one of my local fish shops. It's got a real fine mesh to it. My regular sponge filters are way too coarse for these fry. You will literally suck all these fry into the sponge, and they have little, I guess, barbs on their side fins that will just stick them into the filter. You'll never get them out. So this is a fine, coarse sponge, and it's proven to work pretty good already. And we had an air stone in there, and it's usually 2 teaspoons or 1 teaspoon per 10 gallons, but I'm just going to give a half dose, which is, 10 drops is the same as a teaspoon. I can always add more if I need it. That's 5 of my drops. I'll try 25% dosage. Catfish are scaleless fish, so I don't really like to dose too much with the medications on catfish. And also methylene blue will affect the bacteria in that sponge filter back there. And as soon as all these eggs hatch, I mean, there's going to be hundreds of little catfish swimming around. They're going to need that filter doing its job. Like I said, I can always add more. I'm just going with 25% dose right now, 5 drops. I can add more as the day goes on if necessary. Might give it 5 more. So that's 1 teaspoon in a 20-gallon tank. Normal dosage on the bottom is 1 teaspoon per 10 gallons. all the live eggs will resist the methylene blue, but all the dead eggs will absorb it, and all the debris will absorb it as well. So many fry are produced. I still have the last spawns growing out here. And these are easily a couple years old by now. So you've seen what it looks like in 24 hours. This is a couple years later. At least a year. Catfish are nocturnal. They usually just come out at night. I generally feed the catfish and plecos before bed.